Uh, Hello everyone, here we have another case with some anterior crowding, class 2 relationships, some skeletal asymmetry as well. I'm not sure if it's real contacts or it's some misalignment between the upper and lower scans. So the patient asked us for the most simple plan, but we'll make two plans, the full one and the simple one. And we'll start with a full plan, which will include the distalization on the upper arch, because here to achieve good occlusal contacts and to get some space in the frontal area, we need to create space not only with the IPR and the expansion, but also with the distalization. So we'll start with checking the axis of the roots. For the molars and premolars, we're gonna use paddle movements for distalization. And for the canines, I think the better option should be the tipping, so that we place the axis for the canines alongside the root, and for the molars and premolars, we place them so that this horizontal axis is quite parallel to the occlusal plane. So we're ignoring the actual roots anatomy. Let's check the torque. Okay, looks good, good enough. And let's proceed to the lower jaw. So here we don't need a distalization. We'll just make some expansion. Preserving the existing rotations. I'm not a big fan of rotating the premolars and molars for like 3-5 degrees because it doesn't make sense, but makes the relapse we have this way we have more chance of relapse, makes the situation less stable. Now we're done with this stage and we go to the virtual setup module. Let's see how much room do we need to get in the frontal area. We'll start with just moving the teeth without any layers, just to see how much room do we need to obtain. Okay, I think should look something like this. Oh, I completely misaligned with this axis, so I should change them. I don't know how I missed them. Okay, looks pretty good. And here we need to distalize for 0.75 millimeters. And on the left side, I think we're fine. We'll just improve the contacts. So let's get back to the virtual roots and change it for the central incisor. Yep, it should look like this. Looks like I'm completely missed them. Okay, now it's better. There are third molars. They don't persist on the scans, but you can see the signs of them on the CBCT scan. So that if we choose this option, this treatment plan with distalization, we need to get rid of the third molars before we start. So, yep. Let's use the classical protocol of Invisalign and start distalization step by step with moving the second molar for the half. It should be 0.9, I think. About 4 aligners. Ah, no, here we don't distalize. Sorry, I forgot it. So when we distalize on the right side. Yep. And we can start moving the incisors, not to lose the... not to waste the time. And I think we should make the first layer for the lower teeth. Here we just expand, rotate. Keeping an eye on these parameters so that rotation doesn't exceed the torque. We cannot expand the second molars with aligners if we don't use any auxiliary stuff, so we don't touch them. Once we expand, we get some spacings between the posterior teeth. So don't forget to close them. We know we cannot distalize more than 2 teeth at the same time. I think it should be good for the layer 1. Let's distribute the spacings more evenly. Check the contacts. Yep. So since we procline the lower frontal teeth, we should do the same on the upper. Let's make a pause for the lower teeth and proceed with the upper distalization. So the first layer was retraction of the incisors and distalization of the second molar. Layer 2, we put the molar to the final desired position and start moving the first molar. And let's add some expansion for the opposing side. And proceed with some proclination for the incisors. Procline and rotate. Well, layer 3. I finalize this movement and starting with the second premolars. Let's check the occlusal contacts. Here we'll need some buttons and elastics to make the contacts tight. We can try an extrusion, but I'm not sure if it's gonna work. So I'll better go with buttons and elastics. Layer 4. Zero 0.9. Some expansion to keep the width of the dental arch. Some more torque movement. Layer 5. So here we can start moving the canine. Let's see how it matches the lower canine. So now we created the final layer where we start moving the incisors to the palatal direction. So here I don't use the body movements, only the tipping movements, since they're more realistic for clear aligners in this case. And let's finish the alignment of the lower teeth. We'll make the second layer and finish with the rotations. Move the incisors towards the lingual direction. And check the sagittal contacts. Of course, this is a compromise case, so we're not going to achieve the ideal occlusion. Maybe we'll get some sagittal gap. It's also fine. We'll just need the permanent retention. Because this position is not going to be super stable since it's a compromise case. Let's reduce the sagittal gap. And for the final layer, I would extrude the posterior teeth. It's going to be just one aligner with some cutouts for buttons. So that we extrude the teeth so that they reach the tight contacts. I don't like the torque of the canines, but we're not able to improve the torque of the canines with aligners. It just cannot produce enough force. Maybe I'll put this. I put these premolars more inwards. Okay. Let's put some attachments. So here we had a distalization, so we'll need some attachments for distalization. I would use this shape. And the patient will need to wear the elastics between the button made on a liner, the upper liner. We'll make these buttons with special pliers. And the other button will be bonded to the lower molars. So make a special marks on all these teeth. Okay, we don't move this canine, but here we also need the attachment. This is our mark for the button. Same here. And on the opposite side. Let's put some attachments for retention. I suggest putting them to the first premolars and first molars. Let's use rectangulars for the molars since they are bigger, so we can get more retention. Don't forget to put the numbers. And let's check if we need some more attachments on the canines. No, it almost don't rotate the canines, so I think we don't need the attachments for them. Let's check the overcorrection, if we need some overcorrection to the incisors. Yes, I think we do need it. So I'll put this teeth more lingually, since it was more vestibular. Its distal edge was inwards, so we should put it out a little. It was outwards. We should put it more inwards, and I use the same logic for all the other teeth when I overcorrect. If I have pretty big rotations, I would add a negative attachment to this mesial part of the lateral incisor. It should help the rotation at the layer 1. And at the layer 2 as well. Let's add some intrusion, by the way, to align the incisal edges more. Well, do we need some negative attachments on the upper arch? Let's see. I don't think so. I would not create some additional tension. But let's see if we need some overcorrection. I think we've already done it. Maybe we should increase this tipping. Looks fine. Maybe we should reduce overcorrection here, because it was too big. So the initial and the final one. Oh. What's wrong? Yeah. Looks good. Once we've done with the distalization of the first premolar on the right side, we can get rid of the buttons. So let's remove them from the layer 6, 7, and 8. But here we'll put, here we'll put the buttons for the extrusion. And we'll create the layer 3. Where we also put the buttons. So it's a W shape and it's a V shape of elastics for the extrusion. Doesn't allow us to proceed if we don't need any, if we don't make any minor changes. So let's make some movements. Well, let's Let's see how many liners do we need to produce to let this work. Four, 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 10, and 1. I hate it. Every time we need to put these numbers manually. $35 liners. Layer 1, 5. Layer 2, let it be 7. And layer 3, yes, just 1 for the extrusion. Not that many. 13 in total. Let's start animation to see the dynamic movements. I think it looks good. Pretty simple. I don't think we'll need any refinements here. If they make IPR on time and the patient is compliant with wearing the elastics, it should work out good. Well, let's save this treatment plan, upload it to the cloud, and show it to the patient. And I'll make the second plan, which is going to be more simple, with just a line in the upper 6. And we'll show both plans to the customers. If it would be my patient, of course, I'd choose this plan. Because we get good contacts, it's more stable, it's much more aesthetic, and it's not that complicated and long.